What's up, BookTube? Hope you're all having an awesome February up to this point. Cheers, my friend. It's unseasonably warm down here in Kentucky. And some people like it. I'm not a big fan. We've been getting way too much rain. But okay, this is my January TBR. This is my January wrap-up. February TBR. Not sure how that mistake happened. But I rarely edit, so let's go with it. In January, I read a total of 4 books. I know. It's awesome. Excuse me. Let me get to this one first. By Susan Cooper, Overseeing Under Stone. I read this as a buddy read with Kara over at Wilde Book Garden. Thanks, Kara. Appreciate that. Now, everyone knows I don't read a lot of YA, but this one was pretty intriguing. You have Barney, Simon, and Jane. They go to visit a great uncle who technically isn't their uncle, but he's been in the family a long time. They explore this old house. They find a map, and apparently this map points to the location of the Holy Grail. And so they go on quite an adventure, and you know, I don't do spoilers, but this was a pretty good, you know, like I said, I don't read a lot of YA. And I have the rest of these books. My sister-in-law gave them to me, so I'll probably read the rest of them. But I gave this 4 stars, and pretty good pace for a book that was written, you know, I'm not knocking 60s literature because, you know, hey, I was born in 63, so, but I like this one. And there were some times, you know, when I was a kid, as all kids, well, at least the way we did it around here, you go exploring. There used to be an old tipple up here, and we'd go in there and mess around, be 7 stories up, throwing crap out. So I can dig that exploration vibe. Like I said, 4 stars. I have the other books, and I plan on giving them a read. Thanks again, Kara. Then we're to some people might call it a classic. Now, my exposure to this, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. I saw the movie, you know. And the book is not quite like the movie. Your Jack Nicholson character, McMurphy, he's always trying to pull people out of the fog, which he's trying to unmedicate these over-medicated folks. He's a bit of a con man, but he's also a likable character. So he's up against Nurse Ratched. I call her Nurse Ratchet for some reason. There's a lot of political incorrectness in this book. You know, product of the times, 62, year before I was kicked out of the womb. I gave this 4.5 stars. It's just like this next book I'm going to review. It's a bit ahead of its time, and of course, you know, that's what literature needs, and art, and you know, different aspects of human creativity. Also, I found a typo in here. So This is on page 243 of this here, and it's the second paragraph. Now it's actually the continuation of the last paragraph on page 242. It says, "No, I ain't sacred of their battery charger." When of course, you know, it should have been, "No, I ain't scared of their little battery charger." So put that on the editor. Again, 4.5-star read. And I can't believe it took me this long to read that critter. Then we have another book I should have read years ago, you know, back when I got into sci-fi. Because I had some, my cousins moved next door. They'd been out west exploring. They was actually looking for some property. Our family was going to buy some property, and basically, I mean, we were on our way to becoming a cult. I mean, you know, we were going to be a separate religious group of people, but fortunately, that never turned out. We weren't going to be a evil cult, I would like to think, but we were going to be a community, and so that didn't work out. Anyway, off the subject. They came back. The oldest had a heck of a collection of sci-fi books, and I started reading sci-fi when I was, you know, probably 10 or 11 years old. And they had a collection of, you know, all the greats, Asimov, pardon me, Ellison, you know, that's where I picked up Midworld, and so I should have read Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert A. Heinlein way back in the day, but I did not. I waited until 2020. And this is a story about a Earthman. Well, his parents were from Earth, but he was raised by Martians. And this was published in '61, the hardcover. So basically, they go to Mars, grab this guy, bring him back to Earth, and he's kind of the sole inheritor. He's pretty much the guy, you know, over Mars. It's just a crude way of putting it. But he is not quite an Earthman because he was raised by Martians, and he has powers that we don't have. Some messed up telekinesis. I mean, if you can make people disappear. And also there's a phrase introduced, or a word rather, early on. I do not grok, which means I do not understand. Later on in the book, it could mean several different things. He's very naive. He considers people his water brothers, and he doesn't really discern between men and women. And Jill, she's a reporter, and she's kind of a love interest. So everybody wants control of this guy, since, you know, he's apparently the sole heir to Mars and all the riches that lay up there. But once he starts figuring people out, now of course you have all these external influences, all these earthly folks. You know, some want to help him, some just want to control him. Anyway, he gains a sort of independence. I don't like to do spoilers, but actually I'm not going to do spoilers. but there's something, you know, he goes and kind of checks out different religions, and that's where I'm going to leave it. 4.5 stars. Why? Because again, it was years ahead of its time, much like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So. Then I have Dark and Bloody by Alonzo Fugate. This is for Todd and Dane's indie read-along. And I actually know this guy, worked with him a little bit. He was over the academic club, and I was a volunteer at times helping out. You know, asking questions, doing whatever needed to be done as a parent. And this is a nice collection of scary stories. Alonzo, he was kind of just getting started with this one, and then he's got another one called, you'll love this. I'm hoping it's listed in here. Probably isn't. I think, oh yeah. Nose picking and 50 other ways to tickle your brain, and then pumpkin guts, tater eyes, and other tasty treats. So, but I give this 3.5 stars. It's an enjoyable read, be good for kids. It's kind of YA-ish, but not too shabby. Then we're on to the TBR, which I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Since I'm, you know, always on point on these things. Before we get to that, thank you, Mark, over at Richardson Reads. I have a book on the Hopi. I appreciate that, Mark. Pinned card right back there. So, thanks, buddy. I'm really into the Native American scene, for sure. Now, that's not on this month's TBR. Trust me, I'll get to it. So first off, for Todd and Dane's indie read-along, I have Dawn Kurtagich, The Creeper Man. Not quite sure if she's an indie author, but that's where I'm going to place her. So, there's a man in the trees, a man with no eyes, but still he watches. That's the surprise. Stay away from the woods. It couldn't be clearer, but the trees are creeping near and near. Beware the creeper man. Sounds good to me. Give it a whirl. By the way, it took forever for me to get this book. It was like 2 or 3 months. And then I have Charles Bukowski, Ham on Rye. And this is my second go at Bukowski. Women just really do it for me because, you know, I lived in the 80s. But, I kind of like Bukowski style, so willing to give it another go. Then, gonna have a little fun here. Jenna over at Bibliofilth suggested, this was on one of her wrap-ups, SuperMutant Magic Academy. And it sounded like a lot of fun, so I figured I'd get a copy and see what's going on at the Academy. Yeah, it's not quite my wheelhouse, but that's fine. I believe in, you know, checking other stuff out. Then I have Be Ready When the Shit Goes Down, A Survival Guide to the Apocalypse by Forrest Griffin. And if you don't know who Forrest Griffin is, then you're not into MMA like I am. So, be interesting to see how this turns out. In an interview years ago, he said if you take this to the bathroom, it's probably going to be worth about 3 trips. Alright, if you stuck around this long, you're a real trooper. I like to get back here in my junk room / library and just ramble on about various things. So thanks for watching. You know, don't forget to subscribe, because, you know, I'm all about that. I'm just a country boy who likes books. Thanks for watching. Catch y'all next time. I'm about to knock a stack of books over here. Bye.